I'm Kyle Malnati, your host of the Calibrate Real Estate Podcast. At Calibrate, we exist to help people create generational wealth through real estate. My personal mission is to encourage, empower, and educate you by sharing best practices from business leaders that are proven winners. Broadcasting from the Mile High City, thank you for tuning in to episode 190 of the Calibrate Real Estate Podcast. Our guest expert today, Esteban Andrade, from Hesel Media, or like we like to say, Hustle Media. Esteban, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much, Kyle. I'm actually super excited right here that I was invited to this show, and I'm part of this great show where we're going to be able to calibrate our life into the real estate world. So I'm super excited to be here. Thank you,
Esteban. It's exciting to have you. And as we're getting prepared for the show, you shared with me that you started education-wise as an engineer, and you worked at another company where you learned kind of the technology business. And Hesel Media now exists to help real estate professionals with lead generation. One of the things I really like about how you described Hesel Media is that you're focused on getting motivated sellers connected with real estate agents. And I love that because most lead generation services are finding buyers for real estate agents. And those buyer leads are not very good, and you've got to scrub them. So let's talk about how you're helping real estate agents get connected with sellers in a lead generation platform. How do you do that?
Absolutely, man. So I came from an engineering background. So I've been able to really build call it engineering systems. All of this, I learned it from Henry Ford, of course, right in Michigan. I was able to create something that it can be repeated itself, mass produces, just like the Ford car. And I've been able to create a system where we leverage Facebook and Google pay-per-click, Facebook ads, and even YouTube ads to drag in and get motivated traffic of homeowners that need to sell their property. Usually they need to sell their property fast for some sort of reason. We of course need to find out about that reason, but usually these people are going through some sort of situation. They want conveniency on the sale of their property. They want speed. They want the benefits of maybe not having to stage or make repairs. Maybe they want the benefits of not going through the whole traditional process of listing on the market and things like that. But what they don't know, and they're not educated just yet, is that could be the best way to sell a house for their current situation. So we're going to be running pay-per-click or Facebook ads and capture these people. So the system is very simple. On Facebook ads, we will be able to create static pictures, all right, or video marketing. Those static pictures are created with homes, either pretty homes, ugly homes, okay looking homes, where it's very obvious on our intentions to do. And we created an ad copy that is also obvious and talking with our direct consumer, which will be homeowners that are probably looking for these things that I just mentioned: conveniency, fast on the sale, top dollar. They want to sell the property for full price, get the most amount, but they're not sure how to work or if working with the real estate agent is the best thing. So we also work with real estate agents that are hybrid. Okay. What does the hybrid real estate agent do? A real estate agent that is hybrid is either someone that is capable of working with also a real estate investor, or someone that is also a real estate investor themselves. If they, for some reason they get a motivated seller, and let's say it's Facebook that comes in, either a creative ad, creative video, that they come in, fill out the form, we're going to pre-qualify this homeowner by asking them questions, specific questions about their situation, along with the address of the property. We're going to ask these questions. And as soon as we have this question, we send them to a system where we're going to manage the lead. We're going to follow up with the lead. Maybe we have also lead managers or virtual assistants that help us call this lead and get them on the phone. Okay. So what is going to happen? The real estate agent, the hybrid agent, or the investor is going to be able to further qualify these individuals, but always wanting to let them know that you have options to sell the property in many ways. It's not just, I'm going to be your agent, I'm going to list it, and I'm going to make sure to get top dollar. maybe that's not what they want or what they need. So we're going to need to uncover these hidden objections, these hidden motivations, and by asking them qualifying questions, right? We usually want to know 4 pillars: time frame, motivation, condition of the property, and how much are they willing to accept a cash offer if they were to be given a cash offer. And of course, we want to be able to disclose that we are a real estate agent, all right, that we are able to get their property on the market if the property fits to be in the market, rather than just having a cash deal, because a cash deal is not going to be fit for every single person. Okay. So we're able to leverage Facebook. We capture the person on Facebook. We capture the person by placing ads specifically on Facebook or even in Google pay-per-click. So the Google search platform. And that is basically a very high level idea of how things are going. So as you know, Kyle, you work with multifamily real estate investing. So you know how precious having homeowners that or like property owners, landlords that have a property to sell that is off market to make it a great deal is, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. The off market deal is kind of the most coveted thing, especially for a listing agent. If you say, all right, this doesn't necessarily work for me personally as an investment, but maybe I've got the ability to put it out to market and market it to someone that maybe doesn't know about it yet. So I love that you uncover seller leads, because so many of these lead generation systems, SEO searches, are all targeting buyers. And I feel like most successful agents really built their business around being listing agents. The term in our real estate business is listers last. So I think that that's great. The other thing I found that was very interesting is, as I was researching Hesel Media, is that you believe and you've seen that there's a 5 times return on investment for direct versus direct mail. I know a lot of agents that are doing postcard mailings. We do them in our own company and our brokerage firm that I own here in Denver. So you're getting 5 times the return on investment of direct mail. How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that, of course, we measure everything is through data, right? So the good things about being able to work with platforms like Google, which is an intent-based platform, which means that someone is going to go in here, open a browser, all right, search on Google, I need to sell my house fast, and then go to a landing page, all right, or even in Facebook. But these platforms, these channels, are able to give you what is analytics. All right. So we're able to actually track down analytics, track down actual metrics, KPIs that allows us to see what's our ideal return per amount of clicks that they do, ideal return of how many leads are generated, how many appointments are done. And the thing is that direct mail has always worked. Yes. And direct mail is a great way to get listings, motivated sellers for cash offers, whatever that is. But the thing is that direct mail is getting way more expensive over time, right? And also direct mail, depending on the strategy that you use, is something that is only going to get to a portion of the population. So how do we sift through the other portion of the population that doesn't really see direct mail, that doesn't really open their postcards, that doesn't really, do anything or take action, or maybe they're just on the fence? Usually people have a sense of if they need to solve a problem nowadays in this era, they would go and either go to ask for a friend, search for an article, do a Google search, Bing search. Well, that's very low amount of people, but Google, they will go to Google and they'll try to find some sort of solution. Hey, like, how do I do this? How do I do this myself? How do I figure it out? How do I sell my property fast without having to make repairs? How do I share the least amount of commission, or I need to sell my property fast, I need to sell my house fast? They'll do this type of searches, or they will also go to Facebook groups to chat about this with local people. Maybe they will go to Messenger or even Instagram and chat about this with their friends, with their family, all this online media interaction. So there's going to be more traffic involved than direct mail, right? Direct mail is going to be great. It's been doing great. However, the last few years, we've noticed with real estate investors, wholesalers, and hybrid agents that it's just getting more and more expensive, right? So people are kind of now trying to decrease the market money. They started doing more SMS blasts. They started doing more cold calling. They started more calling, Zillow listings, Zillow's, sold by owner listings. They started doing all these other cheaper methods. We started generating results. But the problem is that now, hey, policies with the carriers are going crazy, and they're like shutting down all this SMS blasts, cold call bots, and things like this. So things are getting harder and harder and more expensive. So we have noticed that when people come in with Google PPC, when people come in with Facebook, there's a better intention. And as a matter of fact, this is a great story to tell. One of our clients based on Arizona, his name is Rusty. He's in Pinal County, all right, and he's the owner of Pinal County House Buyers. But he also sends direct mail, all right. I believe he has a realtor partner, or maybe his wife is a realtor, something like that, but he's a flipper. And he sends direct mail. That's the way that he's been doing it. He's been taught. Sends direct mail. It cost him a penny. But we were running Facebook ads, and the homeowner that called him back, or that filled out the form from the Facebook ad, actually told him that he had seen his postcards several times in the mail, but just never really called back. Just either forgot, never got the time, or was just on the fence on making a call, right? When he saw the Facebook ad, when he saw the creative, when he saw the video that we were able to create for the person of them, all right, with specific scripts that they go through, they got more familiar with them. Like they actually, this sense of familiarity got activated. This sense of like, okay, I trust this person more. I see him now in Facebook now. I'm going to go ahead and fill out the form and see what happens, because I need to sell my property. So he told me that this homeowner kind of had already, with the video that he saw, had already some rapport built without him talking on the phone, because he had already gone through the video. He gone through the funnel, gone through the landing page that gives all the benefits of working with him, right? So it's going to making sure that the trust factor and that credibility factor is going to make sure to allow the client, the homeowner, to make a more educated, certain decision. And that's how he got the lead. All right. But he already had seen the flyers and all these postcards before. So we do see a great increment in ROI.
Yeah, I appreciate that you share that story about Rusty, because there are a lot of us that have put time and energy and money into direct mail, and you don't have to feel bad about that, because this could amplify that. It could just very simply create a more effective conversation with people that maybe you've kind of hit like a billboard does over 12 or 20 times. Someone drives by a billboard, but then all of a sudden they see a form online that they can fill out, and you're like, oh yeah, I know that person. So I think it can be a very good amplifier to what you've already been doing. The other thing that I really like about these particular types of digital products, Esteban, and I want to hear your approach from Hesel Media's perspective, is that I have sent postcards and direct mail throughout my entire career, through 17 years as a broker. And I know that they work because I hear the anecdotal evidence, but I don't have specific strategic data to back that up. So you're sort of sending out 2,000, 5,000, 20,000 letters, yellow papers, postcards, whatever they are, in the mail, hoping that it works, instead of understanding that I put this out there, this is the amount I spent, this is exactly how many clicks I got it. And it allows you to calibrate your results on the next one, because you know, okay, more people clicked on this particular widget within the ad or within the form and this is what's successful. This is what's not successful. So that's the thing I really like about digital media is you can be much more strategic and you can improve upon your ads over time because you get to see the data.
Yeah, 100%. So imagine if you send out all these postcards and you send out 1,000, let's say in a county or in a neighborhood zip code that you like. Imagine if you are able to see how many in, or maybe let's say in a specific neighborhood, how many of these people in this neighborhood actually picked up the postcard or actually saw the postcard, with how many actually read it or kind of had a physical touch with it, right? But then not call. Of course, you can calculate how many people call back, and you can measure that in a CRM, okay, versus the amount of postcards or direct mail that you send. But what if you actually had that data, right? Hey, look, I had this X amount of people that put eyes on my postcard, maybe ripped it off. I had this X amount of people that put in the garbage. I had this amount of people that do this and that. That is data that allows us to optimize. And that's what happens in Facebook and in Google, right? So for example, how many people have clicked, gone through 20% of the landing page, stopped, and then exit out? We can always record all of this, all right? So there's several softwares out there, like, and there's actually even free software from Microsoft where you can install a camera, okay? You can see the journey of your homeowner that went through whenever they click on your landing page, whenever they click on your Google AdWords or Facebook ad. You can see exactly how many scrolls they did, okay? The temperature of where they stopped, okay? The clicks that they did, and you're able to actually see with data exactly how to calibrate your ad, your targeting, your optimization of this. So all these platforms allow us to always be calibrating and adjusting things to get a performance better and better, right? Instead of just a shotgun game. Okay. So
it sounds like a lot of work though. And I think it's important that you reminded me that Hesel Media handles 100% of the process and you manage 100% of the process for us. So that's the thing. I think it would be a relief to me to know that, okay, not only am I going to get all the data, I'll have higher return on investment than what I would if I was doing some sort of mailing project, traditional snail mail, but you're managing it 100% for us.
100%. Yeah. So we do have a done for you program. And basically the program is that we will do everything for you. What it means is we're going to be able to run all these complicated campaigns with pixels, ads, ad sets, optimization, duplicate, A/B testing, all of that, of course, generating the leads. But we also are going to give you a centralized system, a platform where you can manage the leads, all right? Where you can actually see where the leads are in their stage of life. So from new lead to someone that just responded to you, to someone that you recently contacted but needs a follow-up, to someone that needs nurture because they currently are going through a situation and they need to sell in 2 months rather than next week, or in 3 months rather than next week or this month. You can put in specific stages, okay, all these leads, and you will be able to manage that. So we will give that system, all right? It will come with an entire CRM. If you have your own CRM, that's fine. But if you use your CRM, then you'll be going away with all the benefits that you get here. Now, we also are going to be able to take care of the follow-up. So following up is huge in this game. Following up and calibrating based on all these numbers is going to give us the advantage. We're going to give us exactly that slight edge and tell us how much of our money that we're putting are actually being extracted. Because you got to understand and remember, only about 1 to 3% of the population will buy from you today, and the rest will require some sort of follow-up, whether that's a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way to 20 follow-ups if you want to do. And if it's required to do, in order to get this person on the phone, have a conversation, and understand where they are to sell their property. And you also want to be very fast. We take care of your speed to lead. Okay. We take care of calling fast to this person and really pre-qualify their situation. We have created an internal call center, all right, to be able to call these people really fast and follow up with them until they get them on the phone and achieve a phone call appointment. Okay. So all of that is done. And apart from that, we also have a sales coaching. So we'll have a sales coach. This one is a closer. Specifically, this person is also a real estate investor. All right. This person knows how to close creative deals. Okay. So that means that he knows how to close seller finance, subject to leads options, all this type of stuff as well, if that comes to play, which is great. And of course, able to close on cash offers, be able to close on cash deals and be able to structural deals around it. So you'll have that specific sales training in a weekly basis with a Facebook group. So in my opinion, that's huge value. We have other programs as well where we also teach you how to do this, but the best one is where you are hands off and what you have to worry about is just closing these deals and getting them into a listing, closing them in a contract, however it is, whatever options that you provide to these homeowners.
It's a great, valuable service. And I'm so happy that there are ways that you don't feel like as a real estate agent, you're adding another set of responsibilities, because Hesel Media will handle the majority of the follow-up, coach you through the process, help you understand what the data looks like. So that's all really interesting to get listings. But I like to also talk about the REI side of it, which is you actually working to find investors great deals. And so what led you from working with real estate brokers to find them more seller leads that are motivated to now obviously working with investors?
You know what? When I started my little career in advertising and I was still holding a 9-to-5 job, I started falling in love with the history that Detroit had. So I'm wearing my Detroit hat right now from the Tigers. And I don't care which baseball team you go for, but I'm wearing this right now because it represents the city that really allowed me to start my entrepreneurial journey. But if you go to Detroit and you take a look at, you go through Woodward Avenue, you take a look at about this historic pathway where you can see downtown all the way to the suburbs of the change that has happened in this incredible city that had incredible real estate. 50 years ago, 60 years ago, was one of the top cities, one of the most wealthiest cities, where they were building and massive expansion was about to be as big or bigger than Chicago. And so many houses were being built, so many skyscrapers were had. So I fell in love with real estate investing. I fell in love with seeing just the rise up of Detroit that is happening. And I started working with a cash buyer that had a goal, had a vision. So this cash buyer in Detroit had the vision of actually taking people from his country, Argentina, all the way to invest in Detroit. So he would buy properties. He will buy them very cheap because all these properties will be in auction. All these properties would be pretty damaged, pretty burned out. And he will buy them very cheap, but he will fix them up. He will basically fix up the neighborhood. All right. He will make it rentable for locals to live in there. And he would sell this property. It's already property managed to investors in Argentina. Okay. So the investors in Argentina will become the property landlords. But he wanted, and he had, of course, with the mission, what he needed to do, he needed to find more deals. He needed to find more properties so that he can fix them up and assign them to his investors in Argentina, right? So he was local. He was someone living in Detroit. He had a brother that is also a broker. He's a broker and property manager in Detroit. So these are the Munoz brothers from Argentina. And what they did was they ended up getting all these properties, making sure that the properties were fixed up. And they started getting so many so many investors in Argentina. They started using TV commercials, they started using newspapers, they started using just media. And so they got way too much demand, but lack of inventory. So when I saw this problem, okay, and I know at the time I was working with only realtors, finding them buyers and regular sellers, but the campaigns were just like buyers, and through the buyers we'll find sellers. I was like, I have an opportunity here. I learned this from one of the best academies in the real estate marketing academies, from my coaches, on how to deliver to wholesalers. So they show me some templates. I learned some real quick thing. I grabbed from Dan Henry. I grabbed some from other marketers, and I started creating a system for this cash buyer because I met him on Facebook. He had this vision, he had his goal, and I told him, we can help you on Facebook. I can help you. You're a cash buyer and you flip stuff and then you property manage to other investors. I want to help you get great deals for your investor, for your end investor. And he used to rely only on auctions. He used to send his, call it bird dogs, or he used to send his people on the field to find and knock on doors and things like that. But that was very inefficient. All right. And we started running Facebook ads. Ads started coming in. There was no system. There was nothing, no automation. Everything that we had was lead was generated. I send it as a text message. He would copy paste the information. He will WhatsApp to his bird dogs, and the bird dogs would go, and not bird dogs, acquisition managers, they would go and knock on the door to lock up the deal. After that, we started streamlining and calibrating the process, okay? Because he started getting a lot of leads. He started getting a lot of people in Detroit of deals of really good investment properties that could be great for real estate investors. Off market, needs repairs, and those are good deals. Single family, sometimes sometimes 3-unit, 2-unit, and he started purchasing. So in 5 months that I did kind of like triage with him, of course, I didn't do free work, but it was a kind of triage. It was a great time because he locked up about 24 deals. All right. So he purchased 24 properties. He usually purchased like 300 in total per year or more using auctions per year. And in 5 months, only using Facebook, he used about in total $9,000 on an investment, 24 properties that he purchased. And all of that ended up being an ROI of about 22x. All right. So that's 22,000%. When we did the calculation at the end of the 5 months, we were like, man, you were able to lock up 24 properties, and we had 0 systems at the beginning. We used to generate maybe 50, 60 leads per month. You had a team in Detroit following up with these leads. And as I used to send it to you manually, and you were able to do so great, I'm going to start also offering to other people. That's when I started offering my products in Facebook, using Facebook groups, connecting with other real estate investors, connecting with the REI side. And of course, man, like this will be a great experience because I was helping this cash buyer and learning from behind the scenes on his business model. Of course, this is a rich guy, has a Lambo and everything, but I was learning from the things that he was doing that I got even more passionate about REI. I even got more passionate about real estate investing. And during that time, I also went to do my first flip, which it went terribly wrong. We did a lot of mistakes and pain and stress and lost money. But hey, it was good experience. So I went full in and decided to take that side hustle that I did, and that side hustle, that hustle thing of the freelance agency lead generation into more real estate investing side.
Esteban, I'm glad that you shared about the failures that happen on your flip, because I think so many new people to an industry want everything to go right all the time. And I think generally we want to feel like we're competent at something, but real estate investing is a very different industry. And there's a lot of people that are attracted to it because of different television shows, different online media sources that highlight very successful flippers. So if you wouldn't mind, let's just kind of uncover some of the lessons that were born out of failure, because I think the most successful people acknowledge that failure is going to be inevitable when you're trying something new, and they learn how to generate a profit eventually out of their failure and learn lessons that will help them be profitable as they continue to evolve and to grow.
Absolutely. And something that I like to really say is that failure is something that is going to go along with struggle. And sometimes you're going to confuse both works where you're struggling and you're feeling that you're a failure. But failure could also be that you're just making big mistakes, but it doesn't become a full failure until you give up. Okay. So if you don't give up and you keep going, and the way that you actually manage failure is by putting your head up, because if something is happening and failure is coming so soon because it's right next to success and failure is coming super fast for you, what you got to be able to do, okay, is to understand that this is an opportunity. The business is talking to you. The system is talking to you. Whatever it is that you're doing is talking to you. It's telling you something. And the things that I have learned in order to really try to avoid or to really try to uncover these things that could have brought up failure in my life is that I really need to be able to invest when things are going wrong. When things are going wrong and things are going bad is where you need to be able to invest more. It sounds contradictory and it sounds like it's opposite, where things are going bad, like I should be investing. Yes. Why? Because when things are going bad in your business, whether that you're 5K a month, 10K, 50K, 100K, whatever that is, it's time to invest in a solution. It's time to invest in your business, something that you haven't probably done because you haven't taken action into it. You need to make it happen. So for example, me, okay. So I was feeling very stressed. I was feeling that it was very hard and I was having some sort of anxiety, and I felt like, hey, all this thing can just crumble, and I'm doing so many mistakes, and my virtual assistants are just leaving, and I can't handle all the fulfillment for my clients. I understood that I needed to really invest in my systems, invest in better people, in a better recruitment process. So if I was, for example, talking about failure, all right, I would really encourage anyone that is in their earliest stages to try to do things, okay, in their very early stages, to uncover possibilities of failure and be able to cover them up by taking investment actions on yourself. One of the things that I didn't do at the beginning, okay, was to invest in proper guidance. And I thought that YouTube University courses and all these free things, or maybe cheap courses out there, was going to really give me that thing, because I'm a hustler and I'm just hustling. I'm not going to be able to figure it out. But why not shorten that time frame that you can have? All right, because ultimately what you want in life is you want success. Okay, what you want in your future, you see it right there, you love it, you want it. But successful people, they shorten that time frame to make it quicker for today. So I will be able to invest in a coach, someone that guide me, because I know I'm going all in. I know I'm going all in REI. I'm going all in into doing a flip. I'm going all in into something. Someone that guides me, it's going to be something that is going to be huge. Someone that guides me properly. Not all coaches are the best. So one of the things that I learned from the beginning is that I don't have to do everything myself. I can hire, and I can also hire and have someone that is a guider from the very beginning, a coach that tells me their own failures and tells me their own guidance based on their success. That is huge.
Yeah, having a great mentor, someone that knows what they're doing, and you're
Correct.
probably going to have to pay for it either in time or in splits. If you're in a brokerage team that you say, look, I'm going to pay a pretty heavy split, but I've got someone who's going to be able to help me convert more leads into more deals. I agree with you. That's how I learned. I learned from having a wonderful mentor that I worked with for 7 years before I moved on. And that foundation is so invaluable. So I completely agree with you that you're going to learn either now or later that you need someone with experience, and you're either going to pay for it in, maybe a deal that didn't work out, or you're going to pay for it in hiring a professional coach that knows what they're doing, or working under someone as an apprentice.
Yeah. And you're not only going to learn either today or later, you're also going to fail, or you're also going to struggle later or today. So why not? And people are scared of failure. People are scared of struggling. And yeah, I mean, it's something that doesn't feel good. Like I got to a point where I was feeling anxious, and I was shaking, I was sweating, and it was a bad feeling about like things are gonna crumble. But it was just a mental state that I put in myself because I didn't take proper actions to certain things. So what if I fail faster? Okay, because I will learn later and I will learn today. But what if I also fail faster? Okay, go through that struggle faster that is going to happen in 5 years. Why not make it happen tomorrow or this week, today? Why not take that action to make it happen faster? And you're going to be able to learn faster, go through that learning curve in a faster way.
Yes, absolutely. All right, Esteban, as we near the end of our show, every episode, I just love it. We have these mountaintop experiences with our great guests, and this is just the same. Great conversation about how you help real estate agents, how you help investors get more qualified seller leads. I love it. I've got to ask you a couple of personal questions, and I feel compelled after we have great people on our show to just learn a little bit more about them. A little bit of Esteban behind the microphone. You ready for that?
Let's go. I'm
all
so
right.
excited.
Top performers are all about making adjustments. And the reason that I named my brokerage company 5 years ago Calibrate is because it's a verb. It's an action item. It is taking experimental results, a little bit of trial and error, and we're going to learn from it. We're going to make adjustments. We're going to make course corrections. So calibration is something that's very important to me. It's an important life mantra. I love to learn from all of our guests what you do, Esteban, to calibrate your life on a daily basis. What are some things, tips, tricks, ways of kind of getting out of a rut that you do, on a regular basis?
Yeah. So let's talk about how I see calibration in my life and the way that I do this. So if we picture the boring way of engineering, like I used to do, calibration is going to be done by doing sanity checks. Okay. So you go there and you are building the truck and you're doing sanity checks in the build of even one little part, or the connection from one screw to a part, and then the shim comes in and then you just rotate it. All of that has different sanity checks. Okay, so you want to be doing different sanity checks in different aspects of your life, not only business, in order to be able to calibrate everything. And the way that I've learned this so hard is because I was only super focused on only what I can do in my business, what I can do to make money, what I can do to spend more time into this system, to this process, into this and that, and into this in sales and blah, blah, blah. But I wasn't able to really calibrate the holistic approach of what my life is, and why I started everything at the end of the day, right? So I really needed to start investing more. Again, little investments, little things in my life, little calibrations, okay, I would do sanity checks right now in order to make sure that I'm not falling apart in my health. I'm not falling apart in my body. I'm not falling apart in the way that I eat. I'm not falling apart into my social, my family time. I'm not falling apart into the business family that I created, the systems in the business, right? So all these sanity checks that we need to do require little investment, and those investments, it's either time or money. Okay, so either spend time to be able to do a sanity check of what happened today in sales, being able to measure a number, what happened today or even this week in my week. Did I really eat properly? Okay, did I really take breakfast and lunch, or I just let the day carry me over, and then I'm gonna continue doing that, and all of a sudden I'm going to just collapse and not have a good health. So I'm going to be trying to do this little research and resets, and have time, space out time for me, for to have a clear mind. All right, to have a clear mind where I can relax, I can actually enjoy being human and not just for work. Because here in the US, we've been actually taught to really work really hard to achieve that success that is overnight, call it like that. But people don't sleep, people don't eat properly, people don't really see all these important things, and you need to be able to do this type of sanity checks. Okay, so part of my calibration is that being able to invest on specific things that I know consistently. So if I know if I'm struggling in something, or something has been struggling, it hasn't been cured, hasn't been successful, or hasn't been fixed in 1-2 weeks, I sit down and I see what type of investment do I need to do. Is it something that I gotta put money into, or do I have to now put in my little notebook a time to quickly and do a sanity check for this? Okay, spend a time maybe after work or in the weekend to do that specific time, but at least I'll know that sanity check is done. Okay, and I want to be able to do this in a weekly basis. I want to be able to see what my week has been in a weekly basis. Okay, you will be able to notice that during the day while you do your things, and while all these things come up. So calibration comes with different sanity checks that we'll do in a weekly basis and monthly basis on investments that I do for myself, life and business. All together, it's either time or money that we'll put into it.
Love it, Esteban. One of the things I've noticed is that from your engineering background, you're very process driven. A lot of engineers are very intelligent. Takes quite a lot of math and a lot of planning to engineer any type of product, whether you're building bridges, building vehicles. I've got a client that's an aerospace engineer that literally sent rockets and satellites up into space. That type of personality generally is not a huge risk taker. There's a lot of cautious engineers out there. So I have to ask a follow-up question.
My God.
How do you keep your probably natural tendency of being an engineer and wanting to have all the information and do research and have redundancy? How do you then invest in real estate and sort of be bold and risk taking?
Oh my God, man. I definitely have that, or been having this problem. And so I really got surrounded with really successful people, seeing what they absolutely do, which is being able to make decisions faster, because opportunities will come once in a lifetime, once every 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, 3 months. And if you're analytical like me, okay, then you gotta be able to compress that analytical time faster and make decisions faster. I know that your brain is going to be analyzing things, putting things in order, organized in a sheet of paper, whether this is a good ROI, whether this is not. And then ultimately you can fall into the trap of your self-conscious telling you, I'm paralyzing you. I'm paralyzing you right now, making a decision and not taking this deal, because that's the way our brains are working. Okay. But I've been able to really trust my gut. If I know that it is something that requires a quick analysis, I will quickly try to do it in a faster method. I will try to be more lenient into making decisions faster. All right. And I will try to consult with friends and network with people that are already there, that are probably the same as you, or analytical, things like that, that are already in a stage where you see yourself. All right. So your net worth, and that will give you more confidence in making this type of decisions. So once you start hanging out with the proper people that are also analytical, but they're being taking action and they take these risks, you're also going to be more prone to doing that if that's your intention. But yes, I understand, your analytical head is going to not allow you to make good decisions, in your life if you keep paralyzing yourself.
Yeah, like a lot of things, our strengths are often blessings and a curse, depending on what type of situation you're in. So thanks for sharing that. My next question that I ask all of our guests is an idea of Dear Younger Me. It comes from a song that I really like that's on the radio, where the author of the song is actually writing themselves a letter. If they could travel back in time, give themselves some advice now that they've lived some life, they've learned some things. So I love to ask our guests, if you could write a letter to yourself when you're in your early part of your career, what are some things that you would give yourself advice for now?
I'll be like something, Dear Esteban Andrade, it's going to be hard. You're going to die. It's going to be hard. You're going to die. Learn how to live and learn how to take action faster. And have the expectation that it's going to be hard, okay? Have the expectation that you need a pathway, an easier pathway. So invest in yourself. You gotta be able to invest in yourself. And investing in yourself is sometimes, like I mentioned at the beginning, is finding that right mentor, finding the right coach that you either exchange time or money. And most of the time, you're going to find that those mentors are going to be money that is going to give you a better blueprint. And don't be naive. Not everyone that calls themselves coaches are coaches. Okay. Do not be naive. Just, of course, be able to see the credibility and see the actual case studies and success that these coaches or mentors have been able to give in order to make that. But also, one thing is, even if you have this coach, even if you have this blueprint, it's still going to be hard. It's still going to be hard. And, hold into that. All right. Don't let yourself fall into that anxiety moment that you had, and learn how to delegate super quickly. So one thing that I didn't do is I did not delegate the things that I knew I could give to a virtual assistant or someone that can do this exact same things. If I create a standard operating procedure, I did not give that so fast. So I got myself way too swamped, way too stressed. It actually played with my mind, my health. It actually did a domino effect that was a negative domino effect. So be able to hire fast, super fast. Okay. You got to be able to hire fast in terms of, you got to be able to find someone that can do those admin tasks, those cold calls, those follow-ups, those lead gen, outreach lead gen, whatever that is. You got to be able to hire those people in order to do high-level things that will take your business to another level, because that's what you want to do. You want to become ultimately a chairman of your own company and create more, because that's what online entrepreneur does.
Yes, absolutely. And we've talked a lot about mentors. We've talked a lot about guides, professional coaches, and I agree with all of that, investing in yourself. My professional coach was interviewed in episode 5 of this podcast. We're now in episode 190. Chris got an answer to me about that Dear Younger Me question. And he put it this way. He said, Kyle, look, I was part of a mentoring group in my 20s. The leader of the mentoring group had us read a book called The Principle of the Path, which is written by a pastor out of Atlanta named Andy Stanley. And in that book, there's an exercise where you have to actually write your own obituary, kind of a morbid type of exercise, but I did it. And so Chris Oakley is telling me this, and he said, I wrote my own obituary and it's put me on mission, and I'm doing all the great things I'm doing in my coaching program, both coaching you personally, Kyle, but all these other entrepreneurs and great business leaders, because I put this mission together. Sadly, Chris died 2 years ago. So it's very interesting to reflect back on that interview where he was living on mission and had kind of scripted out his life. And so as a tribute to Chris now, I asked this question. I say, an obituary feels a little bit distant, like it's a newspaper article or something. If you had someone that was delivering a eulogy at your funeral, hopefully it's decades from now, what would you hope that you'd be known for? What would you want to be remembered for?
Yeah. So shout out to Chris, fist bump to
Yeah.
Chris.
Fist bump in the sky.
Me, if I were to be remembered, is that I have been able to inspire people to change their life anyhow, doesn't matter what. And I can share some stories with you that may be a little bit personal, but I also want to share with the audience. I've been able to help family members to get out of the drug situation by being a mentor, but really caring about the people that look up for me. You know what I mean? Like they see me as an example, and they see me as an inspiration, because they want to do something better. And they will know that they don't necessarily want to be like me, but they see that there is something better for themselves. And there's some sort of potential out there. And being able to influence and being able to passionately inspire someone from get out of the drugs and party situation, being all this, going through a toxic night at the hospital that almost killed his life, my cousin, to having to change in the city that he lived. So that I changed the location. That the location doesn't distract him. Okay, it was a party city down in Bogota, Colombia, and he changed his city. I was able to introduce him to someone that was open to give him an interview. All right, a Canadian company on a robot automation company, and they were opening some areas in Colombia, and hiring people in Colombia, and they were basically interviewing, and I gave him the chance. Interviewed my cousin. My cousin had no experience, but he was able to prepare and help him prepare on the interview, and he got the job. So he changed city. It was in Cali. Went to Cali. Then after that, went to and it started simmering down. Changed his lifestyle. Started exercising. Started getting inspired to do more things for his better self. And then he got another job too, as well, on the not in the digital marketing side, but on the software side, software as a service side, and also inspired by me. And for me, that's an achievement. For me, an achievement of helping a friend getting inspired to pass a job interview and getting a good job or closing a deal. Inspiration, inspire people to actually get positive things and get a better outcome for better things that they know they can do, is something that I want to be remembered. I don't want to be remembered that this guy had a lot of money, Lambos, and a cool Detroit hat. I want to be remembered that I have been able to influence and unlock people's best selves somehow. So that's how I want to be remembered.
That's amazing, Esteban. Thank you for being a part of our show today. If people want to connect with Hesel Media, if they want to connect with your REI program, how do you go ahead and get in touch? What's the best way to schedule a consultation?
Absolutely. So it will be heselmedia.com. So that's HESEL media.com. Either you can go to that website and see all about it, or do the same thing, heselmedia.com/book now. So again, heselmedia.com/book now. You can also find me on Instagram and on Facebook. I am more reachable on Facebook than on Instagram, because on Instagram I get blasted by DMs, and Facebook too, but we can have a better conversation. And you can follow also our group called Real Estate Investing and Wholesaling Marketing and Conversion Mastery. So it's a free group that you can go in, and you'll see all the value and maybe interviews that we've done before. And as a matter of fact, I'm also going to be launching a podcast called Online Hustlers, and we're going to have different episodes for different type of industries, but that's going to be a podcast that I'm also going to be launching.
Oh, that's awesome. Check that out. That's going to be great. Esteban Andrade, thank you so much for being a part of our show. I'm the gracious host of the Calibrate Real Estate Podcast, Kyle Malnati. And for Esteban, for our podcast producer, Ann Russell, and for myself, as I would love to say, as I close out every show, we will see you around the neighborhood. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.